Hello there.
Hey.
Hey everybody.
Hey.
So we know that this is going to be a pretty big shock to you all, but as you can tell by the title, we are no longer doing the Mercedes Vario build in Merlin.
Yeah, that's right. We've just had to say we can't do any more. It's been a really tough decision that hasn't come easy to us at all.
No.
But we've decided, yeah, we're going to stop and we're going to sell Merlin, the Mercedes.
There's a lot for us to explain. We're going to try and be as concise and clear as possible, but yeah, there's quite a lot for us to explain.
So it might also be a huge shock and surprise because only last week we put out a video where we just seem to be getting on really happily with the build, and that is what we were doing. We were genuinely happy in those shots in the van build there, but I think just behind the scenes it's been some real low points for us, and we've been debating it for a bit longer than it might seem. When we film, it's a great motivator to us to be positive and to really get into it, but it's just not been the case. It's been a real uphill struggle for us for various reasons, which we are going into right now.
So we obviously knew from day one, before we bought the van, that it was going to be a huge project, bigger than we've ever done before, like way more complicated than any van build we've ever done before. But it isn't just about the stress and the difficulties of the van build. We have come to the realisation that it just does not align with what we want for the future. And I think that is the biggest change, and we've made that decision over the last couple of weeks. We weren't sure if we were going to put last week's video out. We hadn't fully made the decision at that point, so we didn't know if, we would be doing a van build video this week. But so we put it out. But since then earlier this week, we have fully decided that we are letting Merlin go. He is now back at base van, so we are going to be selling Merlin's 3 base van, good old base van. We love it there. We'll talk a bit more about that in a bit, but so the decisions that we have made, or the realizations we've come to, is that we need a base. We need something that is a bit more solid, a bit more balanced. We just need that for our mental health.
Yeah, we have a massive lack of stability.
Stability is the word I was looking for.
Yeah, we've got a huge lack of stability, so it's really been playing on us a lot. And I think because we're not even sure that the end goal of this Mercedes fit out is what we want, it's so hard to put in all of that work, all the stress, all that energy for another couple of months probably, without space for much of anything else, when the end product we're not even sure we want. You
don't mean the actual build, like you mean having a very, very nicely kitted out van that's quite big, and you don't mean literally the internal build, do you?
No. I'm talking about the fact that we'll end up with a van to live in when we don't want to live in a van full time anymore in that way. We need something
changed.
Solid, something a little bit more, I can't think of the word.
Just stable, basically.
Yeah.
I think I just want to point out at this point, we're not selling Ronnie. We're going to continue doing trips in Ronnie, and we are going to continue doing the videos. I just want to put that there before you turn off and think we're just going to stop doing YouTube right now and buy a house. Like, we don't know if we're buying a house, if we're going to buy some land, a hot air balloon. No, not hot air. No, what was it, your dream? A hovercraft.
Hot air balloon, campsite.
That seems way more stressful than anything.
So if you know what we should do, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we're not going to rush into anything, and I think that's a big part of what I usually want to do, is rushing into things. We don't regret selling the boat by any means. Like, that was an amazing chapter, and that's like done for us. And when we bought Merlin, our plan was to possibly get involved in like a land project, like an off-grid community or something like that, but we're not really sure that that's what we're going to do anymore. So by the end of the build, if we had this huge van that we've decided we don't want to live in all the time, and we don't really have anywhere to put it, it's just very different to what Yeah, and I think sometimes you've got to make these decisions, haven't you, and start them to realise what you actually want.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's a big change.
Yeah, and we've been very sad about it and quite disappointed. But I think, yeah, it was your dream van.
Yeah.
But I think that we had to go on this journey to maybe realise that this isn't what we want at the end.
And actually, Ronnie gives us quite a lot of flexibility because he is so small. Well, he's not so small, but you know, he's a lot smaller, and he's, there's things missing in here that, you know, we really wanted like a separate seating area that didn't mean you had to have the bed out. We wanted a shower cubicle with hot running water, but as we've said, you know, because we're not going to be living in it, we don't need that. We just don't need that now. So
yeah. So for the immediate now, we aren't making any more huge decisions. We're just going to enjoy life a little bit. We're going on a couple of little trips, and we're just giving ourselves some headspace.
In fact, we haven't told you where we are.
But let's just say
we're not in England.
We're not in the UK right now. So,
we'll tell you about that in a second.
But one of the things we are going to be doing is showing Ronnie some much needed love. We're going to be giving him some upgrades. Once we've had some time out, had a bit of cleared our heads a bit.
Yeah, so we're probably going to put a new kitchen, well, not a new kitchen, but a new fridge and oven in. And we have already got this cool upgrade. So the first upgrade for Ronnie is a new toilet. Trillino have kindly sent us their Evo M toilet. As you may know, if you've been watching our videos for a while, we actually already have a Trillino in Ronnie. We have their Origin toilet. Now this one was of course supposed to be going in Merlin in the big van build, but as we're no longer doing that build now, we're going to keep him and put him in Ronnie. So yeah, really excited about that. My dad, aka Wild Dave, is actually doing a van build himself, so he's going to have our Origin toilet, and yeah, we're really excited to have this one for Ronnie. So you may be asking, what is a Trillino? Why are they so good? So Trillino toilets are separating toilets or composting toilets. Solids go into a bucket at the back and the liquids go into a bottle at the front. So there's less odour, really easy to clean, really easy to empty. They're perfect for being on the road. The build quality is so great. We love the designs that they come in. They just look beautiful. I know it's a toilet, but I just think they look beautiful. And I've just discovered that this has a soft close lid, which is pretty awesome. They fit perfectly in our little shower cube, but they come in loads of different sizes. They have really mini ones for tiny vans, and then I think this is the M, which means medium, so there is a bigger version as well. Loads of different options, whether you've got a tiny van or a massive truck. Recently, Trillino have come up with a new product, which is this thing. This is genius. So what this is a liquid level indicator. So this goes into the top of your bottle, and as the liquids fill up, this float bit starts to push up, and then this indicator will start showing through the funnel part of the urine separator, and that is how you know it is time to empty your bottle. There is no electrics involved. It just works. Simple, genius. I love it. It's brilliant. So if you want a toilet upgrade for your van, your motorhome, your narrowboat, your off-grid living situation, whatever, your shed, we definitely recommend Trillino. We will put their link in the description and the pinned link. Go check them out. I'm very excited to start using this toilet, I have to say. Thanks so much, Trillino, for partnering with us on this video. Oh yeah, and they're really comfy too. Other than our amazing Trillino toilet that brings me so much joy, we have also put a new blind thing over our Max Air fan, which means that it cuts out the light properly in the mornings.
Yeah, maybe you remember the time that we sort of made this cover for that Max Air fan.
Bad.
It was a team effort. It's a little bit scraggly around the sides.
1 minute, I think it's in here.
But I tell you what, it's let us have some lie-ins.
This was it.
Yeah,
kind of feel sad
works.
to say goodbye, but now we've got a nice posh proper blind, so
yeah, it's definitely an upgrade.
That is an upgrade.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing, but yeah, I think we've just been pushing and pushing and pushing like just doing one big thing after another, and also like.
You mean generally in life,
Yeah,
don't you?
I
Like
mean
after the boat sale and everything.
Yeah. And I think we just need to be like, let's just halt for a moment there,
Let's
guys.
breathe and simplify.
Yes, and we've come away. We've left the UK. We're hoping we're going to get some much needed perspective and just figure out a little bit what it is we want in this crazy world, where we're going to be putting our energies and our efforts from here on in, because we've been feeling quite confused and a bit lost.
It's I think we seem kind of a bit upbeat now, and I think we've been seeming upbeat in the videos, but behind the scenes it's been pretty tough, and it's just really affected our mental health, especially mine. I've been to some pretty low places recently, and it's not because of the van build, it is because of one thing after another, like these changes, and there is a lot that goes on behind the scenes that we don't talk about, to do with family, and some of it's quite big and heavy, and it affects us a lot, and in a way I think our videos are a bit of an escape, aren't they? But then in real life, it might seem that we're just happily poddling along doing this van build, but actually, like I say, there's a lot going on, and it's just made perspectives change of what we want, and realisations happen. So I hope this is making sense. I think our heads are still very scrambled at the moment, and obviously, making this decision's quite big. So we are in France currently. We're in France, and we are in a really, really beautiful little campsite. We got the ferry yesterday. We were supposed to be going to Scotland. We started driving about a minute up the road. Benny was like, shall we just go to Europe? We're like, yeah, okay. So we drove to Dover, got the ferry the next day, and we have just been here in this campsite for a day. We're going to have this today as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
Just to just chill. And then tomorrow we're heading into Belgium.
Yeah.
So we're going to Bruges, and then we're going to be heading on into the Netherlands. So we're away for 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to be showing you guys what we get up to.
Yeah.
But that brings us on to what it means for our channel going forwards. Obviously, that's probably a question on your minds right now.
Yeah. Well, as it stands, we're still going to be making our videos. We're still going to be going on trips and having a peaceful time and a wild time. But
Peaceful wild time.
Hopefully in a way that is a bit kinder to us.
Yeah.
And apart from that, we're sort of at a bit of a crossroads, and we'll see where we go from here, because I don't think we don't quite know yet. We don't know, but we've thought a lot about YouTube, and we have come to the realisation that we do love making videos. Well, we didn't. We already knew that, obviously. That's why we do it. We love making the videos, and, it might be that we do a few less at the moment, just while we sort of have a bit of time to get over this burnout and sort of heads out a bit. Yeah. It might be sort of 1 every other week or 3 a month or something like that, but the main aim is to continue making these videos. We will be still travelling. It's just that we're going to try and find some sort of base. But we want to make space for some fun and just enjoying life, and being good to ourselves and figuring out what it is we really want. I hope that makes some kind of sense, guys. I know that's all over the place, and we know it must be quite a big surprise to you guys, because it just seemed like we were having a great time building the van, and it was our dream van and everything. But like we say, sometimes you have to start something to realise that it isn't actually what you want or what makes sense to you. And we are just normal people, really. At the end of the day, we are just people like you who we're just getting on with our lives. It's just that we happen to document it. So when we have to tell YouTube, it's quite a big thing for us, because we understand that
you know, it might be quite confusing for you.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And we've tried. We are trying to explain it as clearly as we can, and hoping that you understand where we're coming from.
Yeah.
And it's not always an easy thing to do,
No.
is it? To try and get it across in the right way.
So as I mentioned, Merlin is back at Base Van. He's going to be up for sale there probably by now, actually. So if you were interested, you can get in touch with Base Van, or we'll leave an email address in the comments. Yeah, good old Base Van. They're looking after us, and yeah.
Yeah, we know that Merlin's going to find the perfect owner. It's such a great van. It's such incredible. A brilliant van. It's absolutely pristine. They can be known for being rusty vans, but this one is an example of a totally rust-free Vario.
Yeah.
And as you can see from our videos this far, we've done a pretty lovely job of the fit out. We've done all that flipping insulation. We did all that
the ceiling,
tongue and groove, and I think it's just at the cusp where we've stopped, where someone who takes over the project can still totally make it their own.
Yeah.
We've kind of done the framework of it.
Yeah.
We've done some of the more boring jobs, and it's kind of like ready to be like given the character that would make it completely unique. So for somebody who was thinking about doing that kind of project,
it's a great
it could
canvas,
be perfect.
isn't it?
Yeah, it could be ideal.
He is an absolutely insanely good van. He's only done 70,000 miles. You know, those engines can do like 1 million. Yeah, it is a ridiculously good van. And we are really, really sad to let him go. And, you know, we are disappointed to a certain extent, but we just know. It's like, you know when you've made the right decision.
Yeah.
And it just... Yeah, it hasn't been easy to make that decision, but when you know, you know, and...
Yeah, we've got to do the right thing.
We've got to look after our mental health and ourselves, and...
and also just, like, be aligned with what we want in the future.
Yeah.
Like we said, there's no point us powering on to get this done if we're not even sure we want to use it in the way we originally thought.
So I think it was maybe in last week's video, I can't even remember now, we mentioned that we're going to be selling Rambler and Ronnie. Well, obviously we're not going to be selling Ronnie anymore. We are keeping Ronnie, like we say, we're going to be doing some upgrades to him, and we're going to continue our travels in him. But we are still selling Rambler. It's going to be a little bit later, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's not going to be going up for sale quite as soon as we originally thought.
If you are interested in her, do let us know. Get in touch. We will be selling Rambler. So yeah. Yeah,
but wanted to say just a huge thank you to everybody who has supported us on this van build of ours, on this endeavour.
And throughout the years of all of our videos and our ups and downs.
But I know that it will be disappointing for everybody who wanted to see this through like we did originally, and it's, you know, it's been so motivating to have your support through it all. But yeah, we've just got to do the right thing for us, and I hope you'll stick with us for whatever comes next in our lives.
Excited to take you with us. We will continue our videos, so yeah. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm sure there's a lot of questions out there. Maybe we haven't explained things properly. Thank you guys. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate you being here and all your support over the years. So we will see you next week. That will probably be in Bruges. So join us next week for our trip to Bruges. We're going to be finding some amazing Belgian chocolate, hopefully. Probably a lot of pastries. Some amazing architecture, probably history.
There's canals there.
Canals, yeah. We're really, really excited to have a nice trip away and see some interesting things. See you next week, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Really, really appreciate it if you've stuck to the end of the video.
Thank you, everybody.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.
emerge from the bush. Treat yourself well. Share your hearts, do